Right.
Right?
You guys ready?
Ready? Hello, everyone. It's our first inaugural Life and Fit Recharge midday. Come and practice with us. And today, Dre will run the show. He's our athletic trainer, and Cliff is our charge nurse. And you know me, I'm Dr. Fandregalski, the director of the center, and we all get to move.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining in. We're going to run you guys through a quick little warm-up, very introductory movement. So if you have any questions or need modifications, please let us know in that group chat there, and I'll answer them and give you modifications as we go. But for now, I'm going to get Dr. V and Cliff started on some arm circles, and they are just what they sound. So we're going to take our arms out in front. We're going to have our thumbs out forward, facing forward, and we're going to do small circles forward. We're going to do about 10 of these. And you're going to do small, and then we're going to do 10 big. Perfect. Making sure we're getting all the way over, squeezing your shoulder blades as you come back. Good. Once you finish those 10, we're going to do 10 backwards with the thumbs facing forward. And 10 big going backwards. As you go backwards, making sure you're squeezing your shoulder blades like you're trying to hold a pencil between them. Once you're there, let your arms hang loose, shake them out. Thumbs forward again, and this time you're coming out and in front and going all the way to the back as you can, as best you can. Coming all the way forward, doing 10 of these.
As I'm getting warmer, am I allowed to take some small weights? So water bottles?
So we're doing everything body weight, but if this becomes a little too easy or as you get a little bit stronger over time, you can add water bottles or any kind of weight to add a little bit more resistance. Now we're going to go overhead, so we're going to keep our thumbs forward, and we're going to bring them up as high as we can, and then all the way down. And you're doing 10 of these. You can go as fast as you like, as slow as you like. Want to hit 10. Once you finish that, we're going to go all the way back to the beginning. We're going to do arm circles again, but now our palms are facing forward, and we're going to do backwards first. Backwards, small circles. Do 10, and then big circles. You should be feeling a little bit of a shoulder burn now.
I do.
If you need a little bit of a break, just hang them off to the side, shake them out as Cliff and ABD keep going. Once you're ready, we're going to go forward small circles with our palms facing forward. Once you finish those 10 big ones.
I feel it. It feels good.
Yeah, you'll be nice and sore later on. That's okay. Anytime we exercise, that's one of the reactions of our body. And then now we're going 10 and we're closing. And again, making sure you're squeezing your shoulder blades all the way back as best you can. Coming all the way forward. 10 of those.
By the way, if you have some music at home, you can play it in the background.
Absolutely.
It's easier.
Tell us what kind of music you're listening to in the chat box. And then we're going to go overhead, almost like you're doing a snow angel. With palms facing forward. Doing 10 of these. Good. Now the shoulders are nice and warm. We're going to focus on our midsection, our hips. We're going to do what's called a hip excursion. So I'm going to demonstrate the first one. The first one is I'm going to push my hips forward. So I'll do it from the side. Push my hips forward. I'm squeezing my cheeks and I'm reaching overhead. And then you're going to come back down. You're going to take your hands out in front. You're going to bring your hips back. Keep them nice and high. You're reaching out in front. That is one. You're going to do 10 of those. Go ahead, Dr. V, and Cliff. So as Cliff, I'm going to have Cliff be my model here. Go ahead and face this way. So as he reaches overhead, I want him to arch his back a little bit, squeeze his cheeks. Good. And then as he comes back down, not so much a spot like it over. He's going to reach out in front like he's trying to pick something up, and then he's going back up overhead.
Are we supposed to do them in fast repetition or slow?
The pace is up to you. I prefer a little bit of a moderate pace. This isn't supposed to be anything quick. Want to be nice and controlled in these movements. Our next hip excursion, we're going to focus on the lateral aspects of our hips. I'm going to do my favorite dance move and pop my hip out. I'm going to take that same arm and I'm going to reach overhead. I'm going to hold it for 1 second. Then I'm going to pop the other hip out, reach overhead with that arm. You're going to do that 10 times, 5 each side.
That feels also very good. Nice stretch.
Good. Now we're going to do rotation. So I'm going to stand with my hips nice and square. I'm going to take my right arm. I'm going to reach across my body as if I'm trying to grab something away from me. Good. Bring it back to neutral. Now left arm goes out in front. You're reaching, holding for a second, and then you come back. Doing 10 of those. So one of the things that happens is we lean back a little bit as we rotate. So I'll ask Dr. B to keep your chest forward just a little bit.
Like that?
Perfect. If you find yourself arching like this, we can predispose ourselves to a little bit of injury, and we want to avoid that.
Supposed to look with my head in the direction of
Yes.
the arm, or I have the head
Absolutely.
forward?
So one of the question was, do I let my head rotate with my arm? If you don't, that's going to challenge your range of motion a little bit. If you let your eyes go with your arm, it becomes a little bit easier on your upper back. Good. So they finished 10 of those. And now we're going to do what Dr. B likes to call a tin soldier. So let your arms kind of shake out. Wiggle your hips a little bit. Do a little bit of a hip circle like you're trying to do a hula hoop. And then you're going to take your right leg and you're going to kick that out in front. Do that 5 times. Same leg.
It's a ballerina move.
It's okay if you cannot touch your toes. If you are getting to this point and you're feeling a nice stretch in the hamstring, that's perfect. Whatever range of motion you got is what we'll take. We'll improve over time, and then we'll do left 5 times. Good. Now we're going to do what we call donkey kickbacks. So Dr. B is going to show us a modification, and I'm going to show you guys without a modification. So I'm standing nice and tall. I'm going to take this right leg. I'm going to take it back and at an angle as if I was trying to touch a cliff. Then I'm going to switch and bring it out this way. If we have any kind of balance issues or standing on one foot is a little difficult for us, you can use a chair, a bed, a counter, a cane, a walker, and you can help yourself with some balance there and go through the movement.
How high should I raise my leg?
So Dr. B, when she kicks out, so I'm going to have her hold his left leg and hold that there. Notice how she's nice and parallel all the way through, and the leg isn't kicking all the way up, and it's not kicking towards the ground. That's where we want to be. Perfect.
So one line, correct?
Yes.
With the spine.
And we'll call that 10. So if you're already working up a little bit of sweat, go ahead and wipe that off. Get a little bit of a drink of water. And now we're going to do a quick educational session on how to squat appropriately. So you'll see the squat quite a bit in our workout here. Now when I squat, I'm coming all the way down. I'm a little tight in a couple places, so range of motion might be a little hard. So we're going to have Cliff show us his squat. Good. Now notice Cliff likes to go really wide with his feet, and that's okay. So if you have any kind of ankle pain or ankle tightness, you can go wide and you can turn your toes out, and you're going to bring your butt down as if you're going to try to sit on a stool. Now what that looks like is if I'm close to a chair, rather than letting my chest fall forward, I'm going to try to bring my butt towards that chair, keeping my chest up, and if you need to put your arms out in front, that's perfectly fine, and then we stand up. So give that a go a couple times.
And I keep using that chair. It's actually
Yes.
nice to hold on to.
Exactly. So if you have issues with your chest falling quite a bit, you can use a chair or something else to keep your balance and let that chest be nice and tall. So as they keep warming up, I want you to find a good position for your feet. So we can be about hip width apart. Sometimes we go a little wider because our hips are kind of tight. And if our ankles are tight, our Achilles, our calves, or we have any pain, then we go toes out. Go ahead and find your position.
Yeah.
That's going to summarize our warm-up there. And now I'm going to walk you through what our workout's going to be. And it's called a 12-minute EMOM. EMOM stands for every minute on the minute. So for 12 minutes, we will be doing one task a minute. Minute 1, you're going to do air squats. And so we just walked through that squat position. So Cliff is going to show us that squat one more time. Good. If you need a modification, you can go from a chair. And then another modification, if that's also difficult, you can have a stool, a chair, anything. You can start sitting on the chair. So this mimics the squat position, and then you're going to stand, and we're going to squeeze our cheeks at the top. And we're going to hold that for 1 second. You're going to do that 15 times in 1 minute. The next movement is called a ground to overhead. So you're going to have an object. It can be a ball, a water bottle, a weight, a textbook, a baby, a backpack, whatever you'd like. Let me give that one a Cliff. And I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to do it from the side here so you guys can see my hips. I'm going to take this ball, I'm going to touch it down to the ground. Notice my hips stay high, they don't come towards the ground. And then from here, I'm going to stand, squeeze my cheeks, go overhead. We're going to do that 15 times in 1 minute.
Hey, Greg, can I modify and have this water bottle on the chair, then I don't have to go so far?
Absolutely. If our hips, or if we can't get as deep, you can place your item on something elevated like a chair. You pick that up from the chair, take that overhead. It'll mimic the same ranges of motion. It gives it in a pain-free range of motion. Once we finish those 15, we're going to do push-ups. Cliff is going to demonstrate a push-up without any modifications. Gets down to the ground, and he's going to keep those elbows nice and tucked to his body. He's going to pause at the top. He's going to do 15. If we need a modification, Dr. V is going to show us her modification. It's called an elevated push-up. Still going to work the same muscle groups, the triceps, the chest, the shoulders. Perfect.
Keep the elbows close to the body, right, Ray?
Yes,
that's what you
exactly. We want to
me
keep them nice and tucked. When we do a push-up and our elbows come out like this, we predispose ourselves to some arthritis. We don't want that. So now, if you're ready, shake them out, do a couple last-minute stretches, move around a little bit, do some of those hip excursions. So once you finish your 15 repetitions in 1 minute, if there's time remaining in that minute, you get to rest. Otherwise, you hop right into that next movement. So I'm going to start this clock, and it's going to give us a few seconds to get going. But as soon as we start the clock, we're going to go into our air squats. So Dr. V and Cliff will be doing squats. I'll coach them through their modifications, and I'll also show you some more advanced things. So we're going to get started here. 3, 2, 1. Go. So we're doing 15 squats. So making sure we're pausing at the top, squeezing our cheeks, and holding that for 1 second. Now, if you have a TheraBand at home, you can take the TheraBand, you take a step onto it, hold on with your hands, you can come up to add some resistance. So that's 30 seconds in. Keep moving. Finish out your 15. And we'll give you a 10-second warning before we got to move on to our ground to overhead movement.
Are we still doing this?
You're doing 15 repetitions.
Oh, I'll be on that.
So now we've got 10 seconds left. We're going to rest. We're going to catch our breath. And then we're going to get our object. Dr. V is going to do a water bottle from the chair. Cliff is going from the ground to overhead. So we're doing our ground to overhead movement now. Pick up your object from the ground. Squeeze your cheeks. We go overhead. As soon as we finish 15, you stop. You can put your object down on the ground, down on the chair. Dr. V, just reach straight up rather than arching your back. Perfect. Beautiful. So as we stand, one of the things that we might do is we'll arch our back to try to reach overhead. And if you've got the range of motion, that's awesome. What we want to focus on is making sure our core is nice and tight. So if someone was to karate chop you in the belly, your belly would be nice and hard and reaching overhead. Cliff, is that 15?
Yes.
15.
Perfect. 15, perfect. So we've got about 10 seconds of rest. Next movement is push-ups. So you remember you've got your elevated push-ups and you've got regular push-ups. And here we go. Good. Now, normally we do our push-ups with our wrist stacked on our elbow and our elbow stacked on our shoulder. Sometimes we go a little bit wide, and that's okay. Sometimes we go a little narrow. You find a position that's good for you. You can also turn your hands out and turn your hands in. So I can be wide, out, wide and in, wide and regular. Find a nice position for yourself. We're 30 seconds in. Cliff is feeling a little burn.
Me too.
Dr. V is feeling a little burn.
Yes.
Is that 15?
15.
Perfect.
Okay.
So Cliff and Dr. V finished with about 20 seconds left. Now they get to rest. And then we're going to move into our air squats one more time. Dr. V, I'm going to have you do squats from the chair. So you're going to sit on there. And we're going to focus on squatting up from that position. Exactly. So ready, 15 air squats, go. Cliff is doing no modifications. Dr. V is doing a modification. Dr. V, we can put the water bottle down. This
Sorry?
is just this. We can put the water bottle down. This is
Down?
just air squats.
Okay.
So Dr. V is doing a modification for you all. And if you need something a little more advanced, you can grab a weight, a TheraBand like this, do a couple squats, come back up, squeezing your cheeks at the very top. You can also take a heavier object from the ground and just hold it and squat down. So Cliff sped up a little bit this time, finish in 25 seconds. So the faster you go, the more rest you can get. But the faster we go, the higher our heart rate goes. So depending on what your goal is, you can modify the pace here. 10 seconds in this section.
All right, now 10.
If you finished your 15.
Yeah.
Now we're doing our grounds overhead. So grabbing your object, tapping the ground, going all the way overhead. Yes, so Dr. V is doing a great modification there. She's starting from a chair, engaging a big range of motion, reaching towards the ground, and then using her leverage from the chair, stand up, go overhead. Perfect. We're doing 15 of these. If this weight is becoming a little too challenging, you can go ahead and drop that. We're going to take our hands. We're just going to reach towards the ground, very much like our hip excursion from the beginning. If you're huffing and puffing, that's okay. We are too.
And squeeze your butt, right? That's
Exactly.
the thing.
You're
Squeeze your butt.
squeezing your cheeks at the very top. You're holding that for a split second. There's 10 seconds, and we're moving on to our push-ups. And go. Cliff, can you do a couple wide for us? So Cliff's going to demonstrate a couple wide posture push-ups. Good. A regular push-up engages our chest and our triceps quite a bit. Right now, Cliff going wide is engaging his shoulders a little bit more than his chest. That's a great modification. Now, keeping your core nice and strong
I feel my triceps.
means that your back is not caving in. And so he's staying nice and flat. And if you were tired, his back might start to dip a little bit. And if you're starting to dip a little bit, go ahead and take a break. You've got 20 seconds left in this round. So if you haven't finished your 15, you've got some time. If you finish your 15, go ahead and take a break.
Woo.
All right, that's round 2. We've got 2 more to go. 10 seconds. We're going to air squats. Ready? I'm going to do it with you guys. Go! Air squats.
I'll try the non-modification this time.
Yeah.
Advancing.
Yes, exactly. Now, one of the things that might happen as we get tired is we might see our knees do this. If that's the case, I want you to focus on driving your knees out. And if that means we can only get to about here, that's okay. You don't have to get down this low. What that looks like from the side is I might see my knees dive in. I'm going to push them out. That means I might only get here. versus here. It's perfectly fine. So Cliff stayed on pace 25, 24 seconds. Now he gets to rest. We got 10 seconds before our ground to overhead. So I'll challenge Dr. V. She'll go from the ground, and I will do modified from an elevated position. 3 seconds, ready, go. Some grab.
Oh, this is
all the way
heavy.
overhead.
Oh God. It's a pink ball, but it's heavy.
So making sure our hips stay nice and high as we reach versus letting them fall as we come to the top, squeezing your cheeks, holding it for a second, going overhead.
Oh. I am sweating.
Yeah,
It's a little harder to breathe through the masks,
it is.
but absolutely necessary. And social distancing, don't forget.
So once you finish your 15, check out those arms because we've got push-ups coming up. We got 5 seconds. Ready, go. So Cliff is going to go back to regular push-ups. I'm going to show you a narrow push-up, meaning both my hands are going to be very close, almost like creating a diamond with your hands. You can go down into a push-up. You can hold it for a second and come back up. You do 15 of these. If you need a break, go ahead and grab a drink of water. We got one more round after this.
Oh my God. My shoulders are screaming.
Good. About 10 seconds go. Here we go. Last round coming up. We're going back to our air squats.
Okay.
And go. Last 15. So if you want to push the pace, getting down to our depth, squeezing our cheeks, coming right back down. What we don't want to see is when you come down that you're bouncing like this. You want to stay nice and in control. So Dr. V's knees are shaking just a little bit.
Yes, they are.
So,
Ray, you're making us work today.
Yes, a good workout.
so what I'm going to have her do is focus on not going as low, but really pushing out those knees now. Perfect.
It feels much better for the hips, actually. It feels nice.
We got 10 seconds to go, and we're going to our ground to overhead.
I'll take the chair again. The chair modification.
And go. So remember, you can go from a chair, stand up, go overhead. Cliff is showing us no modifications, going from the ground to overhead. And another one, having that weight elevated, reach forward, grab it, bring it towards your chest, and go overhead. This can be a textbook, it can be a water bottle, a backpack, a gallon of water, whatever it is that you desire. Good. Dr. V is doing great. Cliff is doing great. Once you finish 15 reps, you get to rest.
Ooh.
We've got about 15 seconds left before our last round of push-ups.
Oh, okay.
Do it sideways and then let your back collapse. Collapse? Yeah. So this way? Yeah. And go! 15 push-ups. So as our last round kicks off and we start to get tired, notice how Cliff, his back starts to cave a little bit. His knees kind of hit the ground. He's a little tired. If that's the case, go ahead and go onto your knees. Get a nice back, nice flat back, and continue with your push-ups. If you need a further modification, you can go to something elevated. Do push-ups onto a bed, a counter, and focus on having a nice strong core,
Yeah.
not letting your back cave in. Cliff is huffing and puffing. He finishes 15. He can rest. He can grab a drink of water. Dr. V's cranking him out.
Yes, I wasn't counting. I'm just getting in the last few.
There you go. So we got 10 seconds before your last minute comes up. So if you start and finish at 15, work towards it. Finish those up. We got 2 seconds left and time.
Yes, squats again?
Nope, that is it. That is our 4 rounds. That is 12 minutes of work. You all did fantastic. Now we're going to take you through a small little stretch. So grab a drink of water, catch your breath, breathe in through your belly, and breathe out through your belly as well. So now I'm going to have Dr. V take a seat on that chair. Cliff is going to take a seat on this stool. And the first thing we're going to do is a hamstring stretch. So kick out your left leg. You're going to take your right hand and you're going to reach towards your toes. So go ahead and keep that foot on the ground. You're going to reach, hold for a second, come back up. You're going to keep that same left leg out. Take your left hand, reach towards those toes. And do that 10 times, 5 each hand. Go ahead and crank those up.
By the way, if this wasn't enough for you, you can always repeat. Once this is over, the stream will be posted. So you can repeat right away. Or during the week, tomorrow, on Wednesday, whenever you feel like it, come back to it. And next Monday, we will have something new for you.
Yeah, so that's a great point. We did 12 minutes of work. That's 4 rounds, 3 movements. You can bump that up to 15 minutes and have 5 rounds, 18 minutes, have 6 rounds, so on and so forth. Now you're going to do the right leg. So kick that right leg out. Right hand goes down.
Oh.
Perfect. Come back up. Left hand goes down. Good. That stretch should feel a little bit different depending on which hand you're bringing down. So if it's your right hand, you'll feel one stretch. If it's your left hand, you'll feel a different stretch in those legs. If you cannot touch your toes, that is okay. We are just reaching towards them. And if you see your knee bend a little bit, that's also okay. Just make sure that you're not bending or you're not rounding your back forward. You're keeping nice and tall and you're reaching forward.
Feels really nice. Stretch.
All right. Once we finish up those hamstring stretches, we're going for a piriformis stretch. So we're going to bring that right ankle, we're going to put it onto our left leg. And if you need to use one hand to keep that ankle there, that's perfectly fine. You're going to take your right hand and you're going to reach across your body and forward. Good. So Cliff is reaching a little bit too down the middle. I'm going to have him take this right hand and reach as if he was trying to pick up a pencil over here. Good. And come back up. And then you're going to take that same right hand so that same leg stays up, whichever leg you had up. And then you're going to take that right hand, and then now you will reach all the way down the middle.
Where are we supposed to feel that, Ray?
Where we should be feeling it is on the outer portion of your leg here. Sometimes you may feel it a little further down the knee, and that's okay as well. If you are feeling a little more tight, you may feel it in your lower back and off to the side just a little bit.
So how would you modify this if you have bad knees?
If you have bad knees, that's a great question. What we're going to do is we're going to take a stool or something. It could be a chair or something else. You're going to put your foot right up onto the stool, and you're still going to put the side of the foot and bend this knee as best as you can. So if that's as much as you've got, and that's as much as we get. And then now you'll do the same thing where you're going to reach exactly. You may feel less of a stretch, but you'll be able to engage a bigger range of motion. So you do that about 10 times each side.
I see. Well, to keep alternating.
Go. Exactly. And the last stretch.
Other leg.
Yes, so now we switch legs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you don't need to use a hand to keep your leg there, you can take both hands, reach down the middle, reach off to one side, reach off to the other side. Another way to get a good stretch out of that one is once I'm in that figure 4 position, I can take one hand and go overhead. And if you're working from home, or if you're at the office and you decide to do this, you can do all of these stretches from your chair, and you can do all of these workouts in any open space. That concludes our movements for today. If you have any questions, if you need any further modifications, or if you have any questions for a more personalized exercise program, either leave us a message in that group chat or send us an email to the HTC, call the HTC, and we'll reach out to you and get you nice and moving. So thanks for joining us, and have a good one. See you next week at 11:30.
Bye-bye on Wednesday for our next mask making session at 2 p.m. with Kevin. Bye.